Hi everyone! I've always been a music fan. I like playing instruments, I like covering and writing songs, and I obviously like listening to music, like any normal person. So today I'm drawing the people in two of my favorite albums in my style. Albums for today are Coyote Stories by the Crane Wives and 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge by My Chemical Romance, because emo music is good, sue me. Part of the reason I'm doing this is that I want to switch up my style a little bit. It's always been very anime, which isn't bad, and there are parts of that anime influence that I 100% intend to keep, but I want my art style to be slightly more realistic, emphasis on the slightly, and I just want it to have more 3D-ness, depth to it. Also, these two albums are just so different, both in cover art and in content, but I love them so much. Like, 3 Cheers is like emo, post-punk, post-hardcore, and Coyote Stories is like indie, folk, pop, rock. I've considered buying record players just to get vinyls for both of them. The speed paints aren't chronological. I had the idea for the drawing after the Crane Wives piece, so I really struggled with this one. Part of what makes the 3 Cheers album cover so iconic is like the heavy contrast of black and white and bright red, and it's like harsh, jagged lines, which was an issue for me because this was more portrait practice for me. I ended up keeping some of the line work in the hair and the background and the clothes, making them really big blocks with sharp highlights and stuff, but I'm trying to make the skin more blended in 3D. It was also hard to draw the demolition guy's face because, again, I pretty much just draw smooth little anime boys and never draw faces like this. But it was fine, it's good practice, and even though I feel iffy about parts of it, I'm proud of the overall finished piece. I will say though that the Crane Wives is by far my favorite of the two, partially just because when I posted it on Instagram and tagged the band, they reposted me on their story and I was just so excited. I'm particularly fond of the face and the lighting, which you'll see more later. My favorite part of the piece overall was just the hair. It was just moving and swirling so much, and the colors, which I took from the reference, kind of just emphasized that for me. And it was just so twisty and fun to draw. I don't know. I'm just really proud of how alive she looks in a way. This whole video, I'm gonna be honest, is just me trying to get more people into this band. I started listening in like 2018, 2019, but I didn't really get obsessed with it until a couple years ago, and they've grown so much. And did I tell you I'm seeing them in concert? It's quite the drive, but I'm just too excited to even care. I'm going with my mom, it'll be amazing. Also, this album, Coyote Stories, and another album of theirs, Foxlore, are kind of like two sides of the same coin. The band made them at the same time, but released them separately, and you can see the parallels in the album covers, especially the vinyl versions. They have similar compositions in a way, both have foxes, both have similar lanterns and books with the album names on them, similar textures and shapes for the backgrounds, although that might just be because of the illustrator Rebecca Green's art style. I did struggle in that the face didn't really look how I wanted it to. It was very doll-like, Disney princess, which didn't feel right, and I didn't know how to carry over some of that softer line work into a fully shaded piece. It's still a little too dollish for my taste, but I like how it turned out. I figured it out mostly just through trial and error. Part of the issue is just that I was drawing the nose and lips completely different from how I usually do, as in the nose is more than 2 lines and the lips are there, like the lips exist. The lighting for this was weird, mostly just because when I do the lighting, I usually just go, f it, and I just guess where the light's coming from, but here I had a very clear light source. I ended up feeling like something was missing on her face, so I put some more color in her lips and added shine to her eyes and mouth, which I feel like, or rather I hope, added some more extra depth. And I'm just not a background fan. When I tried to draw a background, it just felt like it was taking so much focus away from the actual focus of the drawing, you know? So I ended up taking a page from Miss Green's book and doing that lineless textured style, which I liked. You know, it had stars and texture and stuff. The saddle of the thingy she's sitting on and the little guy, you know, was out of my comfort zone, but not bad. Overall, I'm proud. I'm happy and excited to be done because this took me 6 hours over the course of a few days. Also, I know most of the speed paints voiceovers that I do, I'm just complaining about the stuff that I made myself do. Like, I'm like, oh my god, this texture was so horrible, this composition was so bad, why did I do this? Honestly, it's just because complaining about things I make myself do is one of my favorite hobbies. Anyway, proud of this drawing. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching. That's the end of that video. I hope you all have a good day, goodbye, and good night.